really quick live stream here. So first of all, hello to everyone. Sorry, sinuses again. We had a bunch of fronts come through, and like we had basically the whole area was a big dust cloud for like 4 days. So I'm like parked like 50 yards from every other vehicle, and the teenagers are like making circles around me. Anyway, news update. Been listening to articles about Tren de Aragua. For those of you who are unaware, Governor Abbott has declared them a terrorist-affiliated operation, I believe is the phrase, and in Texas. In doing so, it no longer becomes a local police matter. It is now a state matter, which means the Texas Rangers, who are pretty puffed up dudes, DPS, state troopers, National Guard, any other agency at the state level can now be utilized to disperse this operation. So I'm hearing local reports that the hotel that was taken over in El Paso has been overrun by law enforcement. Hey, Scott, and they've cleared the hotel. They have dispersed the migrants. There were some rescues of trafficked women and children. Arrests were made. Guns were confiscated, the whole 9 yards. Hey, Harvest Mary. And they closed shop. They closed the shop down, and now they're on the fence about condemning the entire building because apparently the manager of this like independent hotel was in cahoots, which shouldn't surprise anyone. So they're thinking he's going to go to jail, and they might tear the hotel down unless a legitimate major chain buys it out and renovates it and makes it a real hotel. So they shut them down in El Paso, which is great, right? Hey, Wolfang. Hey, Dawn. There's a group in, hey, what's up, Resistance? There's another group, hey, Loretta, in north part of Dallas that the Trens had a presence. Hey, Canadian. The state troopers and the detectives are already after those guys. And while they were there, they grabbed the Mexican cartel group as well. They just grabbed everybody. And so basically, Texas is now systemically going through the state. Hey, Alan. And basically pulling apart Tren de Aragua. The news article I saw this morning, which was more on a national level, said they're still having issues in Denver, Chicago, and New York. All three are sanctuary cities, and all three are in states where the governor will not declare an emergency. Because if you have a local sanctuary city, like El Paso is technically sanctuary, and it was meant more for like families and kids, and it gets out of hand, the governor, by his action of declaring a terror operation, was able to then, like they basically checked enough boxes where the governor could say they're a terror operation. I don't know with the exact criteria, but the governor can then intervene at the state level and enlist local police to clear them out, which is what happened. The states where they're having the most problems with these guys is ironically not Florida, but in Chicago, Denver, and New York. And those are in states where the governor will not overrule the county or local jurisdiction, so the cops' hands are tied. So even if the cops go to whatever apartment in Denver and disperse these guys, they probably won't make arrests because they're just going to get cut loose anyway, and they're just going to come back. Now, what I think is going to happen, though, hey, if Texas starts clamping down, I hear Arizona's about to do the same thing, and they're about to call the National Guard on these guys, like the MPs and the National Guard. If the southern states start really clamping down on this group, what they're going to do is exactly what MS-13 did. They're going to move out, right? They're not going to take on DPS. They're not going to take on SWAT because they'll lose. At the end of the day, they'll lose. So they're going to go underground. They're going to get the hell out of Dodge. And I mean, Houston, Dallas, they can hide in the big cities to a point. But with the cops chasing them around, doing building and hotel takeovers is going to be very difficult. They're going to go to a city where they're not enforcing the law, and the cops are basically not even chasing them because they know even if they make the arrest, it's not going to carry any weight. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because in an emergency, you have blackouts, you have hurricanes, floods. God forbid, right now, what's going on internationally is a whole nother problem. Israel, Russia, China. I'm waiting for someone to screw up somewhere and escalate, and it's going to become very ugly for everybody. Knowing the local gangs, what they do, how they operate, more importantly, knowing if you have a disruptive entity like Tren de Agua goes into El Paso where there are already other cartels, hey dude, it's gonna cause a disruption, it's gonna cause conflict, and it could expose you as a preparedness member of the preparedness community, expose you to additional risk. And this is something the media is not doing a good job of saying, hey, you know what, if you live in this area, you could be at risk. Hey, Holly, you could be at risk for some other stuff. They won't do it. So I've said it on other videos, get to know your local area. Get to know, watch the crime reports, go on Nextdoor, go on, you know, some of you don't like TikTok, go on TikTok, X, which used to be Twitter, Facebook. Read about the crime going in the area, not to make yourself paranoid, but to understand, okay, the Mexican cartel is here, the Cubans were here, now we got a Venezuelan gang, they're going to be disruptors, they're going to try and carve out what the other gangs had, and unless they come to an agreement, there's going to be violence. Understanding how those interplay is important. Did he just ratted on the politicians he got? A list says, by the laws they passed, look like all of them in Congress. I would not be surprised, Harvest Mary. I'm shocked that he is not Epsteined. Truly. And I don't blame either party. Although I think one party's a little worse than the other. I bet you there are politicians on both sides who are all sorts of compromise, all sorts of perverts. But think about it. It's like the Greek and the Roman, all the ancient empires. The rich aristocrats did horrendous shit to the people because they could get away with it because nobody could challenge them. Because we're in a republic, it's shipping companies shut down. I have not read about that yet. I do know that they have been talking about tariff wars with China, but I haven't heard about shutdowns yet, which I will look into that this evening, and that's concerning. But I will tell you right now, we have what Texas is now considering a terrorist organization. Hey, KP, hey, Rage. A terrorist organization in Texas, and because they've now been declared a terror organization, yeah, Tuck, tell me about it, it's insane, is waiting to hear on the ports at work. Ooh, that would be interesting. I don't know. That's something we'll have to look at. I might do a video on that. Let me educate myself on that. There's so many things going on. Like, I literally can take 30 minutes at lunch and read all the headlines, go into the fringy news, the energy sector, the financial forecast, and then something big like this happens and it's not even on the radar. Like, nobody sees it. And we're as a community, and this is what I love about having a live chat. Everyone gets bits and pieces that we can throw up in the chat, and you never know, something may take flight. But in any case, so Texas, now possibly Arizona, I know Florida's already on them. They are chasing these Venezuelan gangs out. They're not gonna disappear. They're gonna go underground, but they're not gonna be as bold. Also, Texas is a 2A state. So they will go, you know, if they kick in someone's private house, they're going to have a gunfight in a lot of cases. They're going to go where they can intimidate new arrivals, the innocent immigrants who cannot own a gun because it's not legal, who don't know the country, who are afraid of police because in their country, police was bad or were bad. And so now they're here and they're afraid to go to the cops. And these gangs know this, and they leverage that. So I think we're going to see a lot of victimization, more than we've already seen, of the immigrants coming in. Right now, they've lost, from what we're hearing, at least in Texas, 150,000 females under the age of 18. Like, there's a slew of young women who just disappeared into the country. Sadly, many of them are probably in bad situations now. They're also grabbing American girls. Before I left Houston 5 years ago, there was one girl had gone to, I saw a post on the Facebook community group. Hey, Trent, thanks for joining me. Saying, hey, my daughter's missing. She went on a date at 3 in the afternoon, like right after school, to a Taco Bell in broad daylight with a boy she didn't know very well. And everyone thought innocent enough, right? You go to Taco Bell in the middle of the day. Well, apparently, as she walked out, this kid had notified a group of guys who, some were already in the Taco Bell and some were waiting outside. When they saw the girl, they said, yeah, we like her. As they came out, she was grabbed, taken away. The boy, when the cops came to look for him, had magically gone to visit an uncle in another state. And folks were on Facebook. They did find this poor girl. She was in a brothel on the other side of Houston. And they rescued her and 6 other girls. She was not in good shape, sadly. Apparently, she tried to fight back, and that just got her worse treatment. So they're grabbing American kids too, and it's heartbreaking. But I fear, an American kid disappears, we're going to call 911. We know what to do here. I feel bad because a lot of these families don't know what to do. They're afraid. They're not sure what to do in this new country. And honestly, having open borders is not just bad for us. It's terrible for these immigrants. We hear about a lot of them getting money. A lot of them are being abused. And yeah, exactly, Vision. Don't mess with the babies. A lot of them are being abused. A lot of them are being trafficked. And we have no clue. And Border Patrol just doesn't have the capacity to deal with it because they can't arrest anyone anymore. And it just... Anyway, they're going after TDA down in Texas. They're going after them in Arizona. I'm hearing New Mexico's about to do the same. They're gonna go out. They're gonna move to other states. So pay attention to your areas. Pay attention to your local crime activity. I know we have Cuban gangs where we are, but they're into fuel theft. They tried a fuel theft on a ranch, which was stupid in Texas, and they started getting shot at by really large caliber rifles. I'm talking like 7 mags and, 6.5 Lapuas getting shot at them from 400 yards away. So they fled. But I think we're going to see these gangs are going to try to migrate away. So keep an eye on your area. Vision's right. Head on a swivel. Wait, I feel I can't prove it. Just a feeling they're here because a politician wants them. If not, they would make them leave. I agree, Harvest Mary Moon. I also believe we have people in power who are involved in the trafficking, or people in agencies who want bigger budgets for their little kingdoms. So, we have all this crime. We need an increase of $50 million on our budget. I know there's a lot of that. There's an attack on Android cell phones. That's not good. Oh, folks, be careful with your phones. They hacked a bunch of companies 3 weeks ago. Ours got hit somewhat. It wasn't very good for us. One company got shut down in 3 countries, just dropped off the grid. But folks, watch the criminal activity, because if we get in a war, if we have an economic collapse, or we go into a nasty little recession, people will start to panic, and we need to understand and know why this is happening. And we need to know who may be arriving in our area that could be changing the dynamic of the law where we live. You guys kind of track what I'm saying? When I say demographic, I'm not referring like, black, white, Hispanic, Asian. No, I'm talking about like different cultures and crime coming in and screwing up everything. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I do have to drop off some food for the missus, and I got to pick up some equipment. Fortunately, it'll actually be an early day for me. But I believe Vision comes on in about 30 minutes, if I'm not wrong. Have security cams. If you can carry, carry. If you're new to carry, get trained. Don't just buy a gun and not know how to use it. You should be able to clear jams. You should be able to swap mags while moving. You should be able to hit multiple targets while moving. And it's not as easy as it sounds. Make sure you train yourself as best you can. Until next time, guys, God bless, Godspeed. Watch your kiddos, watch your neighbors' kiddos. Take care of each other. And yeah, get those, keep the kids safe. Watch the kids, be careful, and pay attention to the crime locally. You guys be careful out there.